This is a Blaring Out with Eric Blair show, and tonight we're here at the opening night of the 2011 Newport Beach Film Festival. We're here with director York Shackleton, and right now you're best known for We Were Feared.
Yeah, we did the movie We Were Feared last year, which was a documentary on the Cuckoo's Nest punk rock club in Costa Mesa, which we did really well. It went really big last year, and now we're about to do the scripted feature for a really nice budget, so it's going to be a really good situation for us. So for me, when I first acquired that subject matter, my ultimate goal was to try to fall into the model of Dogtown Z-Boys in a sense where I felt like this subject matter had a lot of revenue streams to it and a lot of ways to maximize the marketability of it. So I felt like, we're going to go out there and we're going to do a documentary on it first to start to gain awareness about the film, to get people excited about it, and then continue on to do a scripted feature. So since last year when we were here, I was able to finish the screenplay and then go out to a couple different companies, and right now we've got 2 offers on the film. So what we're going to do is we're going to basically decide who we're going to want to go with, and by August we're going to be filming that movie. And so hopefully we'll be doing it here in Costa Mesa. I really want to do the film locally. I think it's really important to have the support of the local team, everybody that was involved in that whole movement when it was happening, and just the scenery as well, is going to really lend to that film a lot.
Absolutely. Well, this is where it went down, essentially.
This is where it went down. I mean, obviously, like, that whole movement spawned a whole generation of people, and you can see influences from that all over the United States, but this is where it happened, and people like me and you who grew up out here and we're privy to it in the beginning. We're the ones who can bring a lot of light to it, and in order to really make that film as great as I want to make it, it's important to have guys like you involved, guys who are so passionate about the subject matter and so passionate about this movement, to have Henry Rollins and Keith Morris and all these guys, and Joe Escalante from the Vandals has been like our biggest advocate, and really supporting the film a lot and really wanted to help us. So I just don't see how we could make the film as good as we can make it with the people out here, and I wouldn't want to do it without these people, because I don't feel like I would be able to give it the justice that it needed, not doing it that way.
So Jerry Roach, I know that there was talks that your dream Jerry Roach would be Johnny Depp.
I mean, that's definitely, I think for that film and that character, I think he would definitely be a great prototype character. He's somebody that I would definitely be honored to go out to. It's tough to really know who's going to play the lead until everything's positioned and you start casting the film. I can tell you he would definitely be my first choice for it. I think that I would love to do something similar that he did in Donnie Brasco, a really heavy dramatic performance with him, and he's someone who could nail it. But I think you can go a lot of different directions with that character. You could have someone like a Philip Seymour Hoffman play it, which would be a totally outside the box idea, you know what I mean? I think he'd bring a lot of dimension to that character. So I think the great thing about the Cuckoo's Nest story and Jerry Roach as a character is there's so much depth to it all that we're going to have a lot of opportunities, and our job really is to just put the film together the best way we possibly can.
York, if you had a chance to read Jack Grisham's new book, An American Demon.
Definitely, 100%. And I'll say it right now, like, Jack is the one guy that if I could get with Jack Grisham and I could get him involved with this project, I mean, he, to me, is the quintessential, Orange County punk from that era, and there isn't anybody else who captured that feeling and that vibe, and probably, I wasn't there, but I could tell you, had probably more of an influence on everybody than any other one person. So I'm the biggest fan of Jack, and I would love to work with him, and if I could get him involved in this, and I'm definitely going to read his book, and I'll probably read it, for the rest of my life. So.
Have you talked to Jack?
I tried to contact him one time, and I think he was about to get his book out, and we never got able to connect. But I would love to talk to him, and I would love to, see if there's something we could work out, because I just think that, I really want to make this film the best I possibly can, and I want to honor what all these guys did, because I think it justifies that. And to do it without him, I would always feel like I was missing an element of that film. Yeah, and I'll be the first person to say that.
He is very important.
We want to show the situation for what it is and exactly what happened, but allow people to relate to it that weren't involved in it. Obviously me and you can relate to it, like no problem, but like letting, the people running this film festival and these women like this, let them come and appreciate what these guys went through and what they dealt with to make this happen, to ultimately believe in a dream when no one else did and accomplish that dream, separates you from everybody else in the world, and so to be able to open people's eyes to that's really what these guys were going through is what I want to accomplish with that film. because anyone can go out there and show a bunch of guys slamming, you know what I mean? But to show the humanity in all of it and show the struggle that these guys went through, you know, to make this happen is my 100% goal with that film. And that's why having Jack involved would be really important to me, because I know that he, I'm sure, struggled through this whole situation, you know, and it was such a big part of it that I would love to be able to show his plight that he went on the way that he would want to be portrayed. And I just feel like I would be the guy to do that, because at the end of the day, that's my only goal, is to, you know, show it for what it is.
But we were just talking about Kiki Cannibal. It's funny how great minds think alike, because you read the Rolling Stone article, right?
Yeah, I did. And even before that article, though, this was something that I kind of was like onto, kind of like had my finger on the pulse a long time ago. You know what I mean? I saw this movement, the whole Scene Kid movement, and everything that was happening on the internet, and I was like, you know, this is just like, it's like a spectacle in a sense, you know, and it really goes along with the types of films we've been doing, which is like troubled youth, you know, and kids that have no guidance from their parents. And really, with a lot of these mediums like social networking and live streaming, these kids are able to, I mean, they're maturing so quickly now. You know, you've got 12-year-olds that are losing their virginity and they're on the internet and doing all this wild stuff, and you've got the ability now for these older guys to start preying on them, and it's just creating such a terrible situation, really, for society as a whole, you know. And so ultimately with these films we're doing, our goal really is to show these situations for what they are and start opening people's eyes to what's really going on out there.
Well, you know what the thing is that the parents are just not prepared for the social network, period. They're not prepared for what's going on MySpace. They're not prepared for what's going on Facebook, and they're getting taken by, or Stickam.
Right.
They're not prepared for it.
No, they're not prepared for it, and I think a lot of it also comes down to they're more caught up in what they're doing, you know, and the struggle that they're going through in their lives, you know, because everything's so cutthroat now, and everyone's struggling to make money, and the economy is so bad that, you know, a lot of these families that were living a certain type of lifestyle are not living that lifestyle anymore. And so that's where a lot of the family unit is putting their focus, and they're not putting it into the actual family itself, you know, and guiding their children and realizing that you know, they've already done what they're going to do, you know, and it's really about guiding the next generation of children, you know. And I don't have a family and I don't have kids, but this is something that I feel very passionate about. And with all the films that we choose to do, I think there's a major problem with society right now. And the way that, you know, people are being brought up and what they're being exposed to. You know, you talk about all this reality TV, and then the Kardashians are the biggest, you know, role model for young girls. And it's like, I mean, I don't want those girls, you know, influencing my children. You know, I wouldn't want to be around anyone like that in my life, ever. You know, I think they're terrible people, really, at the end of the day, you know.
When you look at your upbringing, how do you think your parents did the right thing?
You know, I don't necessarily think my parents did the right thing. I think that it just was more of the era that I grew up in. It was, you know, there was AIDS was coming out, and so I think for my generation, we weren't as sexually active. We weren't exploring it. There was a lot of dangers involved with all of that, and everything was we were really cautious about what we did. And now it's really kind of wide open, you know, with everything. There's kids these days are made to feel like what they do is okay. The more wild and the more outlandish they are, it's okay. And that goes a lot back to the punk rock era, you know what I mean? But the difference is that those punkers were highly educated, some of the smartest guys you've ever met in your life. And so the choices they were making were from a place of, look, we're not stupid. We know the government's up to something. We know that everyone's, you know, trying to pull the wool over our eyes, and we're not dumb just because maybe we don't have the type of money these guys have or whatever it might have been, you know? And that's the difference, is they were making a statement and being out there because they knew what was going on, not because they just were being wild to be wild. And that's the major problem that we're dealing with right now, is everyone just like, how crazy can you be? But I think, you know, I think that's going to come to an end very soon.
I really do?
I really do. I think that I'm hoping, and I feel strongly inside, that the industry is going to come back to a little bit more of, you know, real movie stars, real actors, real performers, people that work on their craft, and you know, the days of the Lindsay Lohans and the Paris Hiltons and all of that, I think are going to go out the window. I think you can see it with the fact of what they're doing to Lindsay and these girls now. You know, they don't want them being that influence on the younger generation anymore. I definitely think that just our society as a whole is on its way. It's out. There's going to be a significant change, whatever it is. Like, the path that we've been on for 100 years now is coming to a climactic ending, and there's going to be I mean, they talk about 2012, a shift of the ages and all of that, and I think there is going to be some sort of a shift. I think people are going to start realizing more that we've been having the wool pulled over our eyes, and we've been lied to, and we've been fighting for things that are not in our best interest. And I think more and more people are going to realize that that's the reality of what's happening, and a lot of people are going to get upset, and a lot of people are going to want to make a move and make a statement. And people that you would never expect it from too, you know, very docile people, you know, who are just like here to take the ride. Those are the ones who are gonna start getting pissed off. And when they get pissed off is when everyone starts uprising, you know. And I think that's where there's gonna be a significant change very quickly. And I don't know what it's gonna be and where it's gonna go, but the only place it really could go is in a more positive direction, because how much more negative could we all get? I mean, I'm a big conspiracist, you know, and I believe in a lot of that and research that. I listen to Alex Jones, and I think these are things that they set in motion a long time ago, that now that it's becoming reality to a lot of us and we're seeing it, it's almost so far past the point of what we can really do something about it that no one really cares. That's why they're kind of like, screw it, we don't care. Yeah, we got you guys. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's almost like, in a sense, America is really just being driven into the ground, so for other reasons, you know what I mean? For other countries and other people that are really running this world, they're just taking our economy and just driving it into the ground for other people's better interests, you know, and that's a major issue.
And with that, York Shackleton, thank you so much for being on the Blairing Out with Eric Blair show.
I appreciate it.
The Blairing Out show.